Plug it in, mule. Dude, so we
Long.
should be live right now, but it's not showing. There it goes. There it goes.
Thaddeus Prime, Primius to Primes.
You can hear them? Awesome. Yeah.
Always prime time, all
All
the
right.
time.
Cool.
Beautiful.
So everything sound all right? I just want to make sure. Okay. How's the other guys? They too loud, too good? They good?
Yeah, your co-host coming to you courtesy of Discord tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
We should just be partnered like right now in that case, right?
Yes, we should.
Johnny says Thaddeus says we're balanced. Just wait till we get going.
All ugly. Pish, you just jealous of my beard full.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to tweet the stream out and then we'll get this party started. We'll get this podcast started.
Jerk face.
Jerk face.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Yeah. All right. All right, Phyllis. Let's get this party started.
You sure you didn't want to add one more all right in there just for good measure?
You're listening to Analog Assault, a video game podcast
All right.
by
I did it for you.
Mulehorn Gaming.
Welcome to the Analog Assault Podcast, your destination for video game talk, movies, and large explosions. I'm Wade, also known as Mulehorn117, and we are episode 20. And we got my bros here with me, Alex, a.k.a. Circuit 8.
Hey.
And we also have Dirty Bombs, also known as Kurt.
Hello.
Hello, love.
Fancy bombs.
The dirty bombs here.
How's it going, bro? How you doing?
Who are you talking to? Me or
You.
Alex? Me?
Yeah.
Aw. I'm okay, I guess.
You're okay.
I had a bit of a long day. Had to go apartment hunting again. But to make matters more entertaining, I had a crabby 3-year-old with me.
Oh, no.
Everything's better with a crabby 3-year-old.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I went to the first place I actually had a showing for, and then found another place that was on my list, which was maybe 5 minutes away. I'm like, oh, let's drive past, check it out. And then I realized this place is literally within walking distance of my job. So I figured I need no change. Let's go do that.
Yeah.
He didn't want any of it. He was done.
He was Dunsky.
He was Dunsky. As soon as we got back in the car, I had to wrestle him into his car seat. Holy crap. But he was out like a light as soon as we hit the highway. I swear, I was looking in the mirror. I heard him snoring before his eyes were even closed.
Dang.
It was weird.
Well, I got to ask you guys too, not only how you been, but what you been playing. What you been playing, Dirty?
Division.
Division, really?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Really just looking to clear out the island of Manhattan on my latest character.
Yeah.
And that's really about it. I've done so for the most part. I think I have a few more collectibles to go and collect, but other than that,
Oh, not bad. Well, good. That's good, I guess. I mean, the Division is making a pretty strong comeback, so
yeah. I mean, I'm going to be much more
Is it?
interested in getting back into the DLC and whatnot because I bought the season pass for it, so now I have everything.
yeah.
And on top of outside of the DLC shenanigans, there's everything else. There's the
You know I already had the season pass.
You have it digitally, right?
Yeah.
In your game share?
See,
Yeah.
the thing is, I actually
Oh,
looked at the Division
fail.
game share. The beta was there.
Fail.
I don't know this. I got them both digitally.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, now you got it for keeps.
It's true.
Well, that's cool. So that's how you've been playing, man? Is the Division?
Yeah,
That's pretty much it? Nothing else?
pretty much.
That's it.
Not really. Play some games on my phone. Do you really want to know about that?
Hey, man, it's
Hey, man,
considered,
phone games or games.
it's big, yeah.
Well, okay. I got this new game called Bullet Boy, which is pretty just mindless fun.
Yeah. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Circuit might actually enjoy it. I don't know. Just look it up. Bullet Boy. You just play this little dude with a bullet helmet, and you have to go. It's like the barrels in Donkey Kong and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically an entire level of that. You just have to shoot yourself from barrel to barrel, and you have obstacles that you have to avoid, and you have certain
game.
It's not a distance game so much. There's a distance in the level that you have to cover, but you have to get from one barrel to the next, which is usually just like one right after the other.
Yeah.
But some have some swivel, some I don't know, rotate, others move. It's constantly it's fun.
We're still talking about barrels?
Honestly. Yeah. Yeah, we are.
It's barrels of fun, guys.
It's barrels of fun.
So what about you, Circuit? What have you been playing, man?
Man, I'm just, still deep into Mario Kart for damn sure.
Yeah, nothing new then?
I'm cranking it out, man. I got like 2,000 coins. I'm still unlocking stuff.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good, man. I haven't had to buy a game for the Switch in a minute.
Yeah.
We did get a couple of expansions for The Sims 4, though.
That's cool, man. Oh,
Boom.
nice. Very
Which my
nice.
daughter plays.
Very nice, bro. That's
I don't
awesome.
think I've spent 5 minutes on it, but
Yeah. Well, I used to play a lot of Civilization, and the other day I almost pulled the trigger on Steam to get that game. Because the new one that's out, I can't even remember what number they're on now. But
I remember I got like Civilization 2 a long time ago, and at the time it just didn't run on my computer, so I had one of those salty moments, and like, I'm never buying one of these ever again.
I'm done. I'm never gonna play this again.
I didn't
Forget you, Sid Meier.
Like, why doesn't this work on a computer? It says it works on a computer.
Yeah.
It's like the Nintendo. You just plug it in and it works, right?
And it's not like a super hardcore where it requires lots of graphics or anything, right? It just didn't work.
Well, especially back then. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, just considering the computer wasn't designed for that.
Yeah.
At the time. But yeah, I'd probably try it out now.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I used to play the crap out of that game too. Like, I can't think it was the third one, actually. The third one's the one I played a lot of. So, yeah. But, hey, for me, I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, yeah?
And, the one thing I was worried about with that game is all the realism and everything, that it would slow down the I don't know, I guess the story, it'd kind of bog it down so it wouldn't be as fun, as exciting. But,
Right.
I've been pleasantly surprised. So far, it feels pretty balanced. On my PC playthrough, I still have my original clothing, though, because so I died 3 times the first time I played it. And when I died the first time, I got caught stealing and died in the jail because they came and raided the village and burned it, and I died basically burning to death.
Because you were the jail and you couldn't
'Cause
get out, and
I was
no
in
one
the
loved
jail.
you and let you out.
Yeah. So I'm scared to thieve now because I got caught stealing. So I'm still in my original clothes, and they're like torn to shreds, man. They're like shredded up, have blood
Like a
on them.
loincloth.
Yeah, they look so bad. So I think I may have to start doing that again. But man, I didn't know how it'd be with this game, because you guys know me with like RPGs like Skyrim, Horizon Zero Dawn, Assassin's Creed. Like I will play them, but then I'll get sidetracked and go back to like PUBG or like Overwatch or something like that. And man, I found myself in like the storytelling is so good that I found myself just continually wanting to play the game. Like
Nice.
I was sitting here and I was like, oh, I'm going to get to play it on Friday night. And I was like, oh, wait, I'm going to watch Black Panther, so I can't play till Saturday. So,
No.
yeah. So I've been playing a bunch of that, man. I've been playing a ton of Kingdom Come Deliverance. I think I got like 5 hours or 4 hours and a half on PC and at least 4 on Xbox. So, but it was nice because when I was playing on Xbox, I kind of already knew where to go and stuff.
Yeah.
So
is it fairly hardcore, would you say?
not it's a really hardcore RPG. Like it's not like you can just you can't take your choices seriously, and you can just kind of wander on through life, and just go about your business in the game. Like this actually has like choices that you make, and you can't go back and change them. So you have to figure out ways of how to make it work. So one of the things at the very start, I didn't have enough money to buy charcoal for my dad to forge a sword. So I went to my parents' house and stole a bunch of apples and then sold them. So I had enough money. So
Well, you stole
wow.
apples from your dad, so
I
you
did.
could. It's a little
Yeah.
counterintuitive.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But man, I'm loving
Well,
it.
we can't eat, but you got coal.
Well, I knew they were gonna die, so I was just kind of like,
You knew they were gonna die.
So, yeah,
That's some dark clairvoyance you got there.
I know,
You got a Lars and Baru coming for you.
right,
So-
right. So yeah, I've been playing a bunch of that, and I forgot to tell this story on the because we hadn't podcasted in a while because took time off for Christmas and then we had PAX and we got sick.
But we just did a few days ago, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's what I'm saying. I forgot to tell it last time. So I have a funny story that happened in like January with my oldest son. So I have to tell it. So he said that he was talking to like a friend of his or something like that, and they were talking. The subject of Santa came up, and he's 7. He's like,
Yeah.
and we've always told him like, no, Santa's a spirit. He's not like a person. He's a spirit. Because he asked questions like, "How'd you come down the chimney?"
So,
So anyways,
you're actually like giving real answers to the questions.
yeah, like it's So it was funny
I would
because
dodge that shit.
he was talking the other day to his friend, and they were talking about Santa, and he goes, "No, Santa's like a force ghost." And I was like, "Well done, well done."
That is your kid,
So yeah, so
little mule.
I definitely got the point across pretty good. So yeah,
Did
I
you ever
guess.
use the term Force Ghost to describe Santa, or did he just kind of make that?
I did
Spirit.
one time,
Oh, there
and
you
it
go.
stuck. Yeah, because he's like, "Well, what do you mean by spirit?" I was like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like how he was. He's like, "Oh yeah," like
Yeah,
he immediately knew,
yeah.
So
See, that's why I believe in him and I can see him. You can't, right?
yeah, right, exactly,
Because you're not following the true path of the Force.
right.
Is that why I
Yeah.
don't believe in Santa? Because I prefer the Sith.
Maybe.
Do all people who don't believe in Santa are they just Sith?
Wouldn't
Sith
it be
Lords.
the Krampus?
Dude,
He's like the
Krampus is
handsome
badass.
Right?
You know about the whole like Krampus fest over in
It's
Europe
in
somewhere,
Germany, right?
Is it?
I think it's from Germany.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know.
It's just scary ass Santa, and I don't know why it exists, but it's terrible.
Scary
It-
Santa.
Just original folklore, but people get super into it over there.
Yeah.
They have this whole like Krampus Nacht festival where just people dress up in really well done Krampus costumes.
Mhm.
They parade down the street, then they have this like metal fest the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I think if you just like vacationed to that town, like a nice family and their kids, they vacation to that town and they didn't know that was going on, and they wake up on the first day and their kids go outside and see just this nightmare.
So what
What's
you're
wrong
saying
with all
is
the
National,
Santas?
what you're saying is National Lampoons needs to come out of retirement
Oh yeah,
and redo the vacation movies.
German vacation.
Do it, German. Yeah. Everything would sound angry. Yeah, bad joke. So, fellas, we're on
Germany's cool.
episode 20, and tonight is going to be a little bit different than our usual podcast setup. So, we're actually taking the podcast live for the first time ever to Mixer. So, go to mixer.com/Mulehorn Gaming if you want to kind of watch us and see the podcast live. Or if you just listen to your regular iTunes or Podbean or wherever you listen to us, you'll still get the regular version. But if you want to see it live, you can come see us live on Mixer. And speaking of Mixer, don't forget to check out our bros and our teammates, theshedteam.com. They're really cool. They got a lot of cool content creators. They got a lot of cool streamers over there. So check them out. They're really cool cats. So, all right, guys. So we're mostly just going to do Ask Analog tonight. But before we jump into that, I have one talking point I wanted us to kind of talk about. And we kind of have to talk about it again because it's just near and dear to our heart, and that's Star Wars. And there's been a lot of talk about EA and some rumors that EA is going to lose their licensing for Star Wars.
Right.
So what do you guys think about all this?
I think start from square one. Where did the rumor come from?
Yes.
A website I've never been to by a guy I've never heard of. who doesn't quote anything or have
He
any.
seems like a reputable news source.
I mean,
I mean, they're a big
guess.
website, I guess.
It's a website.
Yeah.
Well, we have,
We have one of those, so we know it can't be that hard.
Right.
I'm just saying.
What is it? Cinelinks? Is that what it's called? Yeah,
Yeah,
Cinelinks.
sure.
It
Yeah.
might be
why not?
sign links.
Well, I think it's mostly.
No, it's Cinelinks. Yeah,
Don't mess with me, man. You know me and words.
I know.
Yeah, words
I mean, you
are
can't
hard.
has words.
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy basically is kind of ranting in this article, honestly, and he kind of speaks from that position that I've read from other, I guess, leakers, where you trust me, so I'm gonna speak pure editorial to you, not facts. It's more feelings and emotions, and it's like he's calling the stocks, right? Like he's predicting, or maybe he's talked to somebody that we don't know or doesn't have a name, but at least when you read this kind of crap on Kotaku, they say unnamed sources.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know where this guy's coming from. I mean,
he's his own
I think
source.
what gives the case water is that it's so believable.
Yeah, because everyone wants it, you know?
It's, well, whether you do or don't, it's not crazy to think about right now.
Yeah, but realistically, it kind of is at the same time because EA will likely not lose their license.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
mean-
not going to happen. They've got too much going on for them. For
Well, this guy
in
says-
terms of Star Wars.
This guy's saying that there's apparently something within the contract that allows Disney to pull out if, you know, certain. What he says is they pull out.
You knew it was going there.
Those little Star Wars babies came
Yeah.
out. Anyways, what he says is supposedly there's some addendum within their contract that will allow Disney to pull the license or shop around if certain standards or conditions are not being met, which isn't the craziest thing I've ever heard. But
No.
I bet you EA is making all the money that contract outlined. Like, it's not sales so much, is it? I mean,
No.
I think Star Wars Battlefront 2 now we may have seen some of that actually take place, but like even Mass Effect Andromeda may have landed dead on arrival, but it sold
Yep. Yeah.
well.
Yeah. It went
Right.
gold or platinum.
And that's not Star
Platinum.
Wars, but we're
So-
talking EA's had this kind of volatile year or two,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah, you know, man, I was reading over it, and I mean, I'm not trying to defend EA, even though they're, you know, they have one of my favorite studios with BioWare, but I think this is a bunch of bull crap because, like, looking at some of the finer details. Okay, so in this article, it talks about Lucasfilm when actually the studio that makes games is LucasArts,
Yeah.
which is closed down. And so unless they reopen that or reopen another studio or somehow get to a really big publisher that already has everything set up and can work on a AAA Star Wars game, that's reaching in my opinion. So
But Lucasfilm is the license hold, like they're the daddy company, right? LucasArts is
Mhm.
basically holds contracts for them now. They're not making games.
Nope.
So I don't know if that doesn't disqualify it to me. What disqualifies it to me is the lack of any press releases or quotes or anything.
yeah. And
You know.
I remember talking to my friend Chris, that as you guys know, lives down here in Austin, used to work for BioWare, worked on the Star Wars Old Republic game, like he did the infrastructure for them. And I remember showing him the first Star Wars Battlefront, and he's like, hold on, I just have to tell you this real quick. Having Star Wars pop up on the screen and EA's name on it with licensing is like super like hard to do and big. Like it means a lot that you can put EA right beside Star Wars.
Right.
And so
Right.
for them to pull something like this, I think it would be a little like knee-jerk reaction. I mean, because they still sold 9 million copies. So, and they still had people buy micros. And micros are going to come back.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It just seems kind of bullcrapish to me. Like, I
It
don't know.
likely is. It's just this guy venting with an unfortunate platform, honestly. I mean, yeah, everyone reacted poorly to the Well, I guess they didn't react poorly. They reacted appropriately to the poor decision of the way that microtransactions were introduced or included, what have you.
Yeah.
So I think he's just kind of still on that bandwagon, really.
You know, Josh Nash brought up a good point in our chat room here. I'll just bring that up right now. He says, if Battlefront 2 weren't Star Wars themed, I wouldn't play it nearly as much. And I think that's probably true for everything Star Wars.
Yep.
And, you know, I've started Star Wars games and stopped after realizing, well, this really isn't what I thought it was going to be, or it's not that fun. But there are other Star Wars games that, when made well, it makes it all that much better.
Yep.
Just to be Star Wars too.
Yeah.
But some Star Wars games,
Man,
nope.
that's the thing too, is like I felt like Battlefront 2 it's a great shooter, man. It feels fantastic. And it just because of all, like, everyone's getting up in arms about loot boxes and micros now. So it's just got to kind of had a bad rap. And I think this is just playing off of that, like, crowd's feelings. Let's get some website hits. Let's this sounds like a good rumor. Because, you know, there was a petition that went out for people to try to pull the licensing. But I just don't see it, man. It's too far fetched for me. You have too many games that EA makes that's popular, even on mobile.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not like EA is unstable.
Right.
And
No.
it's really just the people who are passionate about Star Wars feel like that EA's made some F-ups.
Yeah.
And really, what's a petition going to do? It's just a piece of paper with a bunch of signatures from people who are pissed off.
Yeah.
I was going to say the biggest reason you know why this will never happen is because there's a petition for it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen.
Let's have a petition to be partnered with Mixer, even though we don't meet the requirements for it, and just done. Partner.
Mulehorn Gaming, official
Petition.
Discord partner right now.
Petition. Ask the White House.
Yeah.
They'll do something.
What's that White House
Change.org.
petition? Yeah, that is.
Shit.
Change.org. Yeah. Let's do it, guys. Someone start a petition for us right now. Yeah. Well, that's about the only thing I had when it comes to Star Wars. So let's go ahead and move into our next segment, which is going to take up most of our time on tonight's podcast. And that's Shots Fired. And that's where we ask you guys in, Twitter, Discord, Facebook, wherever you can find us, now even on the live chat on Mixer, to send your questions, comments, and we'll just talk like we're bros sitting at a coffee table or playing some games on the internet. So our first one here is from our bro Carpe Adam 79. It's in our official Discord, and I'm going to actually condense this a little bit, Carpe, because you got a little long-winded on
like
this.
milk?
It's gonna be half and half. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be whole milk. It's gonna be half and half.
I don't know how you one-upped me there, but you did it.
So,
Hashtag milk life.
so he
I don't
says,
know if we should really mention milk with the Nash Bros in chat. I mean,
Yeah.
oh yeah. So he says this comes from another podcast where one host mentioned he was not able to experience the Dark Souls series as he wished because the game was more accessible to everyone. He's not that.
He wishes the game was
more acceptable.
to
Yeah.
everyone.
He's not that skilled, and isn't going to grind through the game with the same fight over and over and try to beat it. So he goes on to explain how there is other games like Cuphead, or they're hard, Rise and Shine that is hard, and how there's another game where you can have a level adjuster. You can adjust the level, whether it's giving you invincibility.
Yeah, a game called Celeste has an assist mode.
Yep.
He's saying.
Yeah, you can speed up. You can speed yourself up. You can slow it down. You can increase your stamina. He goes on and on to kind of basically say, do you think more games should add the varying difficulty settings like this, or allow more games to change, more gamers a chance to enjoy the games that maybe they're not as good at?
Right.
So what do you guys think?
That's a novel idea, and a lot of games do have difficulty options.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like most of the games I play, especially FPS games, have some form of difficulty, or at least giving you the option to not suffer needlessly over and over again if you don't want to.
Right.
But there are games like Dark Souls and quite a few others where, regardless of the difficulty, you might have a hard time.
Right.
I mean, I can't imagine, maybe my kid trying to sit down and play Dark Souls wouldn't be long before
No.
she, I'm done with this.
It wouldn't be long for me.
For me, it didn't take too long either. I mean, it's just, I didn't really click with it.
Half an hour.
I think it depends on the way you look at it. One, games is art, right? Shouldn't they just be able to make the game that they want to make and have the gameplay be what they want it to be? And if you want to experience their art the way they mean for it to be played, then you deal with that, even if it means you break a controller at some point in time through
Like Cuphead?
playthrough.
Like
Yeah.
it was supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be hard, but I mean, Cuphead is needlessly hard in some points in time. Like you talk about bullet sponges in The Division. I've seen bosses in Cuphead are bullet sponges a little bit too, right?
Yep. Yeah.
But okay, so Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch, it has an assist mode. It'll like help you recover if you fall off a ledge or whatever. Mario Kart, it has a driver assist mode where if you're veering off to the edge, or you're not turning well enough, or you don't know how to brake yet, or drift, it'll help you out. So you can let the kid play with you, and they'll probably kick your ass because they have a handicap on, and that's awesome. But I think that some games, that really it's up to the developer, and if it would be a lot more trouble for them to come up with a lot of new math to make an easier mode work. I mean, that might just, for a game like Dark Souls, can you imagine an easy mode? What's the point? Because that kind of is the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
You know what
kind
I
of
mean?
the point. Like everyone talks about like Dark Souls, like, oh, you're not a hardcore gamer unless you play Dark Souls,
Yeah. Yeah. Someone tells me they beat Dark Souls. I'm thinking, okay, so you got some grit.
Yeah. You got some either patience or some serious determination there.
Or you got a Game Genie for the Xbox that I don't know about.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see it in some games. One game I think it would fit really well with is Kingdom Come Deliverance that just came out, because there is a really big learning curve to the combat in that game, because it's not a typical like in Skyrim. I feel like you could hack more in Skyrim, like your stamina is longer, but in Kingdom Come Deliverance, like you get 4 swings and you're gonna just be like toast.
Okay. That shit's heavy.
Yeah. So like standing in armor makes it harder for you. Like I think like it's not having something in Kingdom Come Deliverance, or even if I don't know if it will in the future, but if it has mod support, for things like that,
Right.
I think that'd be a really good game for it, because one, it's single player. So it doesn't matter, if you're OP or you have some kind of mod that gives you something.
Sure.
It just makes the game more enjoyable, and like Carpe Adam was saying earlier in our contributor chat when he was playing Little Triangle, that on one level he had like died 200 and something times.
Oh, dang.
So I think having a level slider, 274 is what he says in the mixer chat. So
But that's one of those that's like Super Meat Boy, right? Like you're gonna die 1,000 times before you learn the level.
Yep.
In some situations.
yeah. So yeah, I think, having something like that would be good. It'd make things at least more enjoyable for the casual fan, because not everybody wants to be hardcore. So,
But if you want to pick up a sword and fight scary things, there are games that let you do that without the challenge of Dark Souls.
yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately it's one of those, like, some people want to be X profession and just, you're never going to be able to do that. I'm never going to be a figure skater as much as I might want it.
Yeah.
That flower will never bloom.
It's not going to happen.
No, I don't. But
Yeah.
You can't put the square peg into a round hole, that type of thing. Like, I don't think that would work with Dark Souls. Maybe some other games. Yeah. And I think it's something important to consider. But
Yeah.
it's just extra work that a lot of devs probably aren't going to maybe want to do.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. So our next shots fired is from our bro, Johnny Cage 85. And he says, what are your thoughts on game preservation? Some of my favorite games are from the PS1 and Sega Saturn Dreamcast time period. And the only way you can play some of these games is on the original console or the original disc. Emulation for these games either isn't good or not available, and none of it is available digitally.
Whoa.
There we go. Or backwards compat on newer
Whoa.
systems.
Basically.
What could be done to better preserve older games if they ended up playable on newer systems in the future? Who do you think would be the first to do it? Sony, Xbox, or Nintendo? Hashtag Ask Analog.
Xbox, without a doubt, because they're already doing it.
Yeah, I would say Xbox. I mean, Sony has already said they don't want to do it, but I think they should. I mean, there's so many good, older PS3 and even PS2 games. So
Let's take a look at this. Are they honestly saying they don't want to do it just because they don't want to do it, or are they just not want to do it because they'd rather reboot it and make more money off of it?
maybe
Okay,
both.
Because-
we're talking about
older titles.
years of content that for each
Let's just-
generation has individual problems and challenges with bringing it to the current system. This
Yeah.
being a PS4, they do have some games that you can stream, right? But what they said is that running an emulator on the PS4 to play older games was too hard or expensive for them to do. They said it
I'm sorry,
wasn't worth it. We don't have the demand from
Yeah,
our players
they
to
do.
do this. And they had the whole back and forth between Xbox and them. Phil Spencer saying things like, well, we've seen that more than half of our players have played a backwards compatible game, so we think it's worthwhile to. And it's really just company culture. What do they decide is important? What do they want to do? And I think if you want to play some older games, maybe Xbox is the current console that would be better at some of that, but you're not going to get PlayStation games on there.
No, but you see them rebooting older games. Like they had a Crash Bandicoot port that they brought back, and it just kind of seems like a money grab at that point where it's you could. I mean, what are the chances of someone hanging onto that disc for 10, 15 years, however old that game might be? They'll still probably end up making a little bit of money off of a resale of a PlayStation 1 game if that's the case.
Yeah.
But it just seems that it's just play ball, Sony. Come on.
Well, preserving digital games, you can always, in theory, make copies of those, right? But I know for the PlayStation 2, I don't know if you can make discs in the same way that those discs were made. I mean, I know there's at least a more complicated process one has to go through, other than burning like a CDR. There's, from modding the system to having a more sophisticated burning technology there. I really don't know because I haven't done it, which is, to Johnny's point, one thing that makes getting those games up and running now hard.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because you'd have to have the PS1 to play the game, or the emulator, which he's right. A lot of PS1, and like when you start getting into the 3D era of games, the emulators are very hit or miss, and even the good ones will work better on some computers than other computers. And the best ones, you're all running probably illegal ROMs on them unless you have the copy of the game that you bought,
Right.
20 years ago.
Yep.
So if I want to play Twisted Metal, what do?
Pull out the old
Yeah.
console.
You got to keep your old shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for games where they turn the servers off, you're fucked on an even further level.
Yep. I mean, I think that the only system or organization that's really feels like it's more pro gamer, I guess you could say, is Xbox. Just from the simple fact that I can play KOTOR on my Xbox One now. Like that's awesome, and that is a old Xbox game, like original Xbox. So, I think Xbox has a leg up when it comes to that. I think
it's also a well-loved game, which is why you see it in other iterations.
I think eventually, Johnny, to your question, I think eventually it would be nice if places like Nintendo would do it. If Sony would do it, I think it'd be awesome for the gamers.
Nintendo's a good location for that actually too. On the Wii U and 3DS, there's a virtual console. You got Nintendo, Super Nintendo games. The Switch, they have announced they're doing a subscription service at some point in time, and how that all fleshes out, really, we don't know, but it's going to be cheap and it's all Nintendo games, so it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
So it's looking up, and they've addressed it, whereas Sony, I think, is kind of trailing in the older game category. But if you don't care about older games,
Yeah.
then whatever. And it's just extra square footage being used up in your house if you want to keep all your old games. And to some people, that's important anyway.
Well, I purposefully kept my 360 just so my son could play it because I knew he's getting older. He's playing more games. I don't want to share my Xbox. so I was like, hey, play the OG Battlefront 2 on, my 360. So.
Oh, there you go.
Better
Okay,
than
Josh
the
said
new
the
one anyway.
PS3 plays PS1 games just off the disc. So if you had a PS3, you would have, I guess, 3 generations covered right there.
Very nice.
So
There
you
you
could do
go.
a PS3
Wasn't
and
it
PS4.
only like, I thought it was only like 80 gig or 120 gig PS3s were the ones that were backwards compatible.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, he said the newer ones stopped supporting PS2 games, but the original ones, I guess, when they first came out, did PS1
You could do
games.
both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So see, they got rid of the capability.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why would you? I mean, was it taking up that much space on the hard drive to have that on there?
There's Sony. Y'all can't figure out how to make a bigger hard drive.
It's
Sony
all about
sucks
the
in-
money,
I
brother.
don't think that was the issue, man. I think it was pushing people towards new I mean, okay, I don't know what it was, but
Yeah. You know what it was? It was money. I mean,
it wasn't a require. There was no demand from people, maybe,
Maybe
but
not.
now I think people are feeling nostalgic
oh yeah.
for that generation of games.
Definitely.
Especially with the NES and the Super NES minis coming out, like,
Mhm.
and the Atari, like,
Well, Atari and Nintendo for us, their kids these days, they never had a 64 in their house.
yeah.
The first thing they touched was a 360
Yep.
or a PS3, right?
Yep.
And so they want those games.
Yep.
I mean, there's a demand for older shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah. My short answer, I think it's advantageous for any company to try to embrace as long of a life for all of their products as possible.
Yep.
Even if you
You
didn't
never
really
know.
buy the product and you just licensed it because you bought it digitally and you never really own the product. And if they go defunct or go under, you lose the item you paid for. But it would be nice if they tried.
I agree.
Yeah. You never know what's going to come back in style.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
Jinkos?
Maybe.
I saw
Let's
a
use.
live pair of Jinkos at PAX. When we were at PAX, I saw a guy wearing
A
Jinkos.
live
Are you
pair.
serious?
A live pair of Jinkos.
Someone still wears Jinkos.
But maybe they were cosplaying.
That's true.
90s
As
kids.
a kid from the 90s. Did he have his Tamagotchis? His jelly bracelets?
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I looked up those new Tamagotchis and they're Tamagotchi minis. They're not full
Wow.
featured. So
That's
I'm
sad.
probably going to pass on those.
Yeah.
What do you mean full featured? It's 3 buttons and
Yeah, well, they have more complicated ones, and then they have like the nano type styled ones that have just a couple few buttons on them and
Mhm.
less. Look, it's just trust me.
Just trust me.
just trust me.
We're more in the market for Furby,
Furbies.
a Furby
No.
a connected
Oh my
Furby that
gosh.
connect to your Wi-Fi
No.
and your phone.
No.
That's what's up.
Oh my gosh.
No.
So our next shots fired, moving along here, is also from our bro Johnny Cage 85, and he's quoting an article where it's talking about Ubisoft reporting some AAAs that are coming, and he says, "What are your predictions? Division 2, Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, spinoff?"
So,
Hashtag Ask Analog.
I'm enjoying Division again, and as much as I wouldn't mind seeing a Division 2, probably not, truthfully. Just
Yeah.
because we know Division got taken away from Massive. They're working on an Avatar game, which I cannot voice my displeasure about this decision enough. But
Okay, so we're supposed to guess what the 2 games are going to be.
Yeah, what do you think? I mean, because
I don't know, man. Avatar is not going to be for a minute. I don't think it'd be that.
not
That's
for a while, no.
it's 4 AAA titles.
Are
the
they
article
saying
says
new ones or
Ubisoft
no?
has 2 more AAA games coming within the next year.
Yeah. So
See, I don't.
It'll happen eventually, I suppose.
It's not from Massive. We can say that much. And honestly, I don't keep that hard of a pulse on a lot of the other stuff.
Well, Ubisoft has like 50 billion freaking studios under them.
Right, and that's a big part of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
I think it's going to be some kind of expansion, maybe, because to me, in my opinion, a Division 2 wouldn't really work
Mm.
because that game's kind of set up to be like a World of Warcraft where you just get expansions. So
I thought it was, but they didn't play it that way.
It might be though, man. It might. You never know.
Hey, I'm not ruling anything out. We got a Battlefront 2 and a hell of a lot faster than I thought we would. After that first one, I did not even think it was going to happen, but they pulled up their britches and they still like fell before they hit the starting line, but
Yeah. But I mean, it would make sense if they just did
They tried.
some type of expansion for the Division 2. I don't know if they would consider that a new release.
I would dig on Division 2 because at least we'd get some story continuation that I feel like we didn't really get any continuation, any ending. Really, it was kind of a cliffhanger. It was like, sometimes a new TV show, they produce the first 6 episodes and they have a little arc that, okay, maybe it's over, but it's okay if it's not. Like, we didn't kill anybody off important, but this little arc finished. That's what I feel like happened with the Division, and then they didn't get the full run for the first season.
Yeah.
They just made a quick 15-minute web episodes. Like, that's what those little DLC packs were for me. Like, okay, this is cool, but not learning anything or getting more of what I wanted, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, maybe so, man. Maybe it is. I mean, the reason why I don't think it'll be like a Division 2, it'll just be expansions if they do anything with the Division, is because I feel like they put so much work into the game for 2 years, and it's finally at where everyone kind of wants it to be at. And so why would
So
you?
now they just keep the lights on, right? That's it.
Yeah.
They don't think
Yeah.
a lot of people do that.
You just add to it. You just add to it, and you just fine tune it and keep it going. Splinter Cell, I would love that, but
Dude, it's high time for a new one.
I don't know if we'll ever get another one, man.
There's nothing saying we won't.
I mean, I would love it because those games were some of the my favorite, just sneak around and jack people up games. I love that game. So
I only have one condition: is that they bring back Michael Ironside.
he's getting kind of old now, though. You think
His voice is still the same.
Sounds the same.
Because okay, so kind of bringing
Maybe
this back
better.
to Star Wars on Rogue One. That's something that bothered me a little bit. Is James Earl Jones? His voice sounded a little like not typical Vader. It sounded a little older. Like
Wait, are you going to tell me that you're mad about James Earl Jones
No.
playing Vader?
no, I'm not
Yeah,
mad.
that's what I thought.
No,
That's
But-
the end of that.
I just noticed. I was like,
That's it.
he sounds a little older.
Well, yeah,
he
because
is
he
older.
does sound older,
I know.
probably, because
So-
he's old.
So that's what I'm saying. Is like you connect. Is he
I
sounding
know.
older now? Like
You know what? Honestly,
Would
at this
Ironside
point,
come back and play the same guy? Would he sound the same? Would he do
he
what
would
you
probably
want
still
him
sound
to?
the same. If anything, he might sound a little older. But you know what? Sam Fisher himself is already kind of older because in Conviction, he's pushing his 40s at
Mm.
least. He's got gray hair. So
yeah,
if his voice reflected Sam Fisher's age, then I don't care.
yeah.
That just makes it more believable.
It would be cool if maybe he was like in an Obi-Wan Kenobi type role where he's like the old veteran that's like training up this new guy to be hey, be a Sam Fisher like me,
Is that
Like,
Splinter Cell Beyond?
so why does that bother you, Dirty?
Because Splinter Cell is Sam Fisher. You can't have Splinter Cell without Sam Fisher.
So you'd
You
rather
can,
see like
I
a new
suppose.
original series, maybe in the Tom Clancy universe,
Yeah.
as
I
opposed
just-
to a sequel like game number 8 in
I
some
don't
other
want to see
series.
Sam Fisher just take the aged mentor role in a Splinter Cell
Mm.
game.
Yeah,
Like when you think Splinter Cell, you think Sam Fisher.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, but in every mentor story, there's always the young kid gets in a big bind and the old dude has to come save his ass.
yeah,
And then he looks awesome, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Gears was, right? Like
Yeah, that's
Like,
how Gears
oh.
was.
there's
Rocky,
Dad. Dad's got me.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe his maybe if they did a new Splinter Cell, his daughter would take up the mantle of super spy assassin.
There you go.
So if it was family, you wouldn't mind.
I'd still mind because it still wouldn't be Sam Fisher, but it would at least
It's his
make
DNA.
a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any other predictions you think it might be? I mean, I said 4 AAA games.
It's kind of hard to tell with Ubisoft because they have pretty recent releases on most of their titles.
Yeah.
You know, they've got Division. Well, I mean, Division's an IP, a new IP rather, but they've got Siege is not terribly old. They just had Origins. Wildlands came out a couple years ago.
How long are they going to wait for another Assassin's Creed? Because that used to be one a year, but I don't think they're
Hopefully
doing that
not
anymore.
until next year or the year after that.
Right.
Because they're still going strong with just keeping stuff up for Origins. And like I said earlier, they have like 50,000 studios under them. So I'm not saying that they won't have another one working on it, but.
So do you guys?
Oh, Skull and Bones, the pirate game. I totally forgot.
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
yeah.
That's coming out this.
which
it's
basically
supposed to be 2018.
Their answer to Sea of Thieves hard pass.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like Sea of Thieves, but it just looks like Black Flag.
Yeah.
Just more intensely about the boat stuff.
Target time.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked cool.
Yeah.
It looked cool.
Yeah.
Yep. So our next shots fired is actually just for Dirty Bombs because I would not know. And it's from our bro Cobalt Cam in our official Discord. And he says, this one is for Dirty. If your co-hosts were a class and a race from the Forgotten Realms, which would they be? Hashtag Ask Analog.
It's a D&D question for those of you who don't know what the Forgotten Realms are. If you don't, shame on you all the same. Either way, Alex is super easy. I'm going to go ahead and say, honestly, I can see him as anything except a half-orc or a dwarf. But truthfully, I would go with either human or tiefling. And he'd be a bard, either way.
What's a
College of
tiefling?
Lore.
You got to explain that to me.
A tiefling is like a demon offspring type thing.
Oh, I
But
see.
their class is based in charisma, if memory serves. I also have the handbook next to me. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. So
did you say not half orcs because
a
I'm
half
not
orc
dirty?
is
you
well,
think
no,
I'm
a
a
half
clean person? I have good hygiene.
You don't have the
I mean,
tusks.
there's a half
Yeah.
elf. I could see you as a half elf for God's
Yeah.
sake. But either way, just dwarfs are dwarfs, half orcs are half orcs. They all seem pretty like if you want to make a fighter or a barbarian, you're typically going to
Sure.
go with a dwarf or a half orc. You know, something more melee focused.
And I'm no fighter or barbarian.
You're a lover.
right. That's why you would be a bard of the College of
Yeah.
A
So-
bard of the College of what?
Lore.
Lore. Okay.
Yes.
All
There's
right.
2 colleges when you reach 3rd level bard in 5th edition. There's lore, and then I think the other one is valor. But lore is cooler.
I gotta go loot shopping, I guess.
Yeah.
That's true. But Wade.
Yeah.
Wade.
What would I be?
Oh man.
I'm a hard one, huh?
Oh man.
The Rayman says
Yeah.
Mule is a monk, and his haircut agrees.
I keep it tight, bro. I keep it tight.
I don't know. Monk, maybe not so. I would honestly almost kind of say a rogue, honestly.
Rogue.
Yeah.
You know what? Mule would. I
Still
feel like
pop-
he would be a priest or a paladin.
Nah, I wouldn't go with a
Something in
paladin.
that ballpark.
Paladins are hoity-toity up their own ass. But
Well, I'll
Well,
take that as a
sure.
compliment.
He's less devout.
yeah, you could be a fallen paladin. They're strictly evil. No, I would rule out paladin, just because you really can't have. It's like it's black and white. There's no shades
Right.
of gray with a paladin. So I don't know. A monk maybe. I can kind of see him as a rogue because he has that southern mulehorn charm to him, where he can try to talk his way out of shit.
I got muleisms.
That's true. You can make your target laugh. How about that?
There you go.
But I
Who's
don't
the
know
guy
what
that
you
like
would.
polishes the paladin's armor, because maybe that
His
would be more
squire?
Mule. Like a guy who really likes the paladins and admires them, but isn't one.
Hmm.
The squire.
I don't
Squire.
know.
Sorry, Mule.
Thanks a lot,
Rayman, a
guys.
rogue monk is an OP class in itself.
So I would be OP.
If you were a rogue monk, yes.
Okay.
A rogue monk.
A rogue monk is a.
So how does that
stupid
line up
combo.
morally speaking? Because shouldn't a rogue and a monk think very differently about
Not
the acts of a
necessarily.
rogue?
Rogues are typically neutral-ish, chaotic.
Okay,
good,
so
neutral.
it doesn't imply thievery necessarily.
Not necessarily. No. There's. I mean, the way you want to make your character be anything that you want to be is entirely up to you. You can have a pacifistic rogue if you really want to,
That's
Yeah.
inspiring.
and just buff up his charisma or his deception or his sleight of hand, and just make him like, oh, I need that key, back in a
Well, how do I
jiff.
talk my way out of a pack of wolves? Because we all know wolves and rats suck.
See, that's why you have a barbarian.
Okay.
Or a
Someone to
paladin.
smash.
Yeah, exactly.
No solo.
Believe me.
No solo queue in D&D.
Speaking as a super spellcaster, I'm gee willikers, well, I can't even think of it. Dual class sorcerer and bard. I stay away from things because things are gonna kill me dead.
Yeah.
So, but as to what his race would be, I don't even know that, honestly. I would say gnome, honestly.
You're making Mule a gnome?
I would make Mule a gnome.
I'd make him a half elf, so he's got the groundedness of a human, but a little bit of that like privilege of the elf.
Hey.
There you go. Okay. I can see it. Dwarf, or not dwarf. Half. I'll go with these three. Half elf. I'll give you that. Halfling, or no, because just the latter two are just the fun-loving, let's go have an adventure type nonsense.
I'm going on an adventure.
Basically, Mulebo Baggins.
Yeah.
Wait, have you ever grown a mustache?
Kind of.
Kind of.
I mean, have you ever grown it out?
Not
'Cause
really.
I feel like you'd look just straight up like a damn soda jerk. Like you're gonna whip me up an egg cream.
I gotta try that then. I gotta see.
Yeah,
how
yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our last shots fired we have here is from our bro on Twitter. I am Mattman.
Oh yeah, Matt Burn.
And he says, are you content with the upcoming games? Or do you feel like they're stuck in 3 years ago from where a year, the same type of game comes out all year round, but with different devs? At this point, are you excited for E3 in hopes we see some great exclusives announced?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Sony has the biggest space at E3. So
Yeah.
But E3's been like shrinking,
it has. And
and they started letting the public in
Yeah.
in more gusto, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. So
I
it,
think
it's
more devs are opting to go their an independent way, as far as making big announcements. You know, why do we want to pay
Yeah.
right.
go all the way to California? You know, no offense, California. I love California, but
Yeah.
to set up all that crap and go through the stress and process of it and the judgment, hardcore press, as opposed to like what Bungie does is never show up for hardly anything. I guess they went to PAX West, but they kind of
Well, that's
control their PR machine. They are their own outlets. They run their own platforms, right? Instead of going on somebody else's stage, which
Right.
you know is understandable, and I would probably want to do the same thing. But then again, you know, making one of those E3 presentations would be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I can see where he's coming from, definitely with this, because we've been seeing so many freaking battle royale games come out and rumors for battle royale modes in games like Red Dead 2. But
I think that's what he's talking about now. is
Exactly.
that, look at all these damn battle royale games coming
Yeah.
out.
yeah, but we do still have other games coming
Yeah.
out. We know we got Kingdom Come Deliverance. We've got other single player games that don't fit that mold.
God of
They may not-
War. Yeah.
God of War.
Yeah.
Origins,
Spider-Man that's in
Spider-Man.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of games coming out this year that aren't going to be battle royale at launch.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So there's still hope, but E3, as we said, it's getting a little bit smaller, but at the same time, a lot of people are bringing the same stuff years and consecutively. Like this past year, we saw not a whole lot of stuff that was new from Sony.
Right.
It was kind of a repeat. I think maybe we saw a little bit more in-depth trailers for God of War or whatever else that they had, like the Spider-Man and whatnot, but nothing terribly new was announced to make me go, ooh,
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
their hype game wasn't strong, but their real life game was. They really didn't need as powerful of an E3 presentation as I think Xbox did, and I think Nintendo's been killing it. Obviously, so
They're the most recognized console right now. So
dude, you're never gonna have a situation where anything else is more recognizable than Nintendo.
yeah.
across the world. You know, it's just the household name.
I can't remember who it was I was talking to. It may have been some of the guys in the shed team. And they were saying, like, when I used to work for GameStop, I'd have parents come in and say, hey, I'm here to get that Nintendo for my son. And they're like, oh, you mean the PlayStation 4? Yeah.
I was just about to say people call games Nintendos like Texans call sodas Cokes. What kind of Coke you want, Dr. Pepper?
Dr. Pepper.
All
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I stay out of Texas. What kind of Coke you want?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You only got Coke? I guess Coke.
No, we got all kinds of Cokes.
Just call it
We got all the
soda for
Pepsi brand
God's
Cokes.
sake.
You get a Coke and you get a Coke and you get a, yeah.
No, I say soda. I say soda. I don't call them Cokes unless it's a Coke, and I don't say pop because it drives me insane.
F that.
I hate pop.
Oh,
You say
yeah.
bubbler or fountain?
Oh, fountain.
Okay.
I say water fountain.
Water fountain.
We had this discussion before,
Yeah, I know.
and
It's
I
always
was
fun
like,
to go back and
bubbler.
listen to
That's a smoking pipe. That's not a fountain.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
honestly never once
you
said
know.
that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think you're always going to be in a rut, depending on what type of games you play, and if that lines up with what the current fad is, then you're going to be in a shaky boat, man. If you're playing battle royale games, get ready
Yep.
because I know you are, and that's kind of where we're landed right now,
That's
right?
where it's at.
That's the
Yeah.
island the gaming industry ship is parked at. So we're on shore and seeing what we got, and the best you can hope for is that the battle royale games coming out do the genre justice,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it was the slimmed down, no nonsense of PUBG that I think got everybody on board. It's a gameplay thing, not a graphics thing.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
can see a sleeper come out of a tiny studio if it's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like PUBG.
Yep.
Yeah.
So part of taking the podcast live is that we're going to ask some of you guys in chat just give you guys a chance to ask us questions, and we'll talk to you guys as well. And so Scarecrow21 said, "How long do you think it will be until the Pokemon game, until the release for the Pokemon game on Switch?"
Minimum a year.
You think so?
Yeah, because we haven't heard a date or anything.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be coming out this. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to just. I wake up one day and okay, here's the game, here's a trailer, here's announcements, and here's all that stuff. But it's hard for anyone to keep anything under wraps that well very long.
Right.
If it's at any point near completion,
Right.
you'd have to be showing stuff off.
Yeah.
Do I want it sooner than that? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also want it to be like the best, because as a kid playing Pokemon games, yeah, I said it, Pokemon's games.
Yeah.
The idea of having one on console was just what really kind of provided fuel for the wet dreams of a 7th grader is Pokemon on a console. Man, what if there was like a fully fledged console game or an MMO like a Pokemon? Like, oh, that would be so cool if you could just have like a real, like, fully fleshed out 3D game. Because they were always top scrolling RPGs, like a JRPG on the Nintendo, and now they're not any different. Just the graphics are better, but it's the
Yep.
same type of gameplay.
Yep.
And what did we get on console? Pokemon Coliseum.
That's a good game, though.
Womp. I mean, yeah, it was cool because I plugged in my cart, kicked my friends' butts with Pokemon, but they didn't even touch. Like, the animations were pretty crap-tastic. If now it's better with Pokken Tournament, but at the same time, it's not a mainline Pokemon game. This is a big friggin' deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is huge, friggin' huge. It's going to be on console, but it's also still portable, so I can take it to the mall, to the shitter, to the kitchen.
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It's the
Oh,
best thing
dude.
since sliced bread.
It's friggin' fantastic, man.
So
It's like I almost forget that I can take the thing off the dock half the time.
yeah.
You can.
So our next question is from Super Nash Bros, and they say, since Black Panther is coming out, what up until now has been your favorite MCU film and why? #AskAnalog. I'll go first, and I'm gonna have to say without a doubt, it is Winter Soldier. Like like that. I remember when I watched it in the film, I just hadn't had that same feeling with any of the others as I did that one. I was just like, dang, this is good because it's kind of like that, Rogue One feel that Dirty talked about on the last podcast where, yeah, it's cool. You got Jedi and stuff, but you're kind of focusing on like the people. And I feel like Cap's kind of like the people because he's not like super OP, overpowered like the Vision or, Iron Man. He's not like Iron Man or he's not like Thor. Like he's a dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah, Iron Man doesn't have any powers, man.
He's got the power of his brain.
Well, Cap doesn't have that.
Yeah, he's a fighter. So
he's a fighter. Cap's a jock.
Yeah, he is a super soldier, as Nate says, but like he's not like the tier of like a Hulk or a Thor. So like having something that felt a little more real was I just loved it. I loved it.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. The more human aspect as opposed to the meta-human.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's something I really liked about I guess X-Men is that sort of political movement that comes along with that, and you see that in Civil War as well. The sort of the attempt by normal humans to control supernatural humans. But I got to go with Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Going with Guardians 100% on this one.
The first or
like
second
all
one?
the other stuff, but the first one, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was good, but it's derivative of the first one. So the first one has to win and be better because the second one doesn't have legs without the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's feeding on a lot of your emotions and the history you have with the characters that are established in the first movie.
True. Yeah.
And as someone who's never read any of the comic books, that's important.
Yeah.
Yep. I've honestly lost track of what I have not seen from the MCU. I think I watched.
Oh, it's hard. It's so hard, dude.
There's so many freaking movies now, man.
There's so
Honestly,
many, yeah.
I watched Iron Man's 1, 2, 3, freaking original Captain America, and
How many Thors?
the first two.
You saw Thor and you saw Dark World.
Yeah, Dark World wasn't that great.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. But in my absence of seeing absolutely everything that I possibly can see from the MCU, I would also have to go with Guardians of the Galaxy because it's just plain fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. And it's really funny. Like they have so many good funny parts in it, So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's really what I like about it. Is you got cool action and rad dudes with bad tudes.
Yeah. Yeah. So our next shots fired is from Thaddeus Prime, and he says, "What game would you love to see come to VR?" #Ask Analog.
Not many.
Can bring up Leisure Suit Larry again.
Oh, God.
Oh my gosh.
Only
The
the main
bad
game
fur day.
AO.
AO. Yeah.
Adult only. It's not ambient occlusion. It's adult only.
Rated X.
VR.
I'm just not that big of a fan of VR, honestly. Like, I sincerely hope that it does not become a major thing until I am dead and gone.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome if it got better while we were alive. Like everything else in the world.
I guess call me old-fashioned, but I'd rather just sit down, put a controller in my hands, and blankly stare at my TV for hours on end than strap some stupid, obscenely large thing to my face and look like a tool in my own living room.
I think they'll get smaller and a little easier to handle. And, there are always going to be games that require a lot of action or movement versus some that are more cerebral or calm or peaceful. You've got your action games where you're actually literally ducking and you're going to break a sweat after 5 minutes of playing that game. I saw some poor, fat, sweaty nerds over in the VR booth at PAX, man. Let me tell you. Asthma.
Yeah.
Having a heyday there.
Yeah.
Hay fever day. And
Yeah,
there are also games like Job Simulator where...
That sounds like fun.
It is, but, my daughter loved the crap out of it. And you're just, like, moving staplers and keyboards and doing those little processes. It's like a programmer's dream, just making lots of cool little cause and effect things in there. And that's neat. I can't see myself really wanting to spend the amount of money needed to get a VR capable rig to play that.
Yeah. I think if I did VR, it would have to be something like Ready Player One. It would have to be something that immersive and that intense. That
Yeah, when I adopt VR is when I lose my life to it.
Yep.
Probably.
Right.
like it'd be like, I'm at work. Can I just go to work in VR? Like,
Right.
It's gonna be like Second Life. Do you remember in Hot Tub Time Machine where
Yep.
where John
Yeah.
Cusack's nephew is playing Second Life, but he's like in prison in Second Life.
what's
He's
that
just
movie?
sitting there at the computer looking at his guy in prison.
Wally.
What's that movie? Surrogates, right? Where like you just sit in this chair at home and you can walk around with your surrogate. And,
There's
You
a
know-
few like Gamer was like that, if you remember
yeah,
Gamer, which not a great movie, but interesting concept.
yeah.
I agree, Adam. The Matrix is real. That's the only explanation.
All right, so our last shots fired here, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Is from our bro 3Neil13, and he says, "Have zombie survival games had their time? How do you feel about the upcoming games State of Decay 2 and Days Gone?" What do you think, guys? What do you think?
Well, if it answers your question, I don't have many feelings about these games.
Yeah. Honestly, I saw the
Right.
trailer for Days Gone, and I'm kind of like, oh, never mind.
I mean, that was a good trailer. I mean,
Sure, but
zombie
when
game, I watched the trailer.
I found out what it was, I'm like, oh, no,
Mhm.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And then I've never played a State of Decay game, and I think zombie survival will kind of always be there, but I don't think it'll be in front and center in people's minds.
As long
long
as
as
people are interested in death and dying and are scared of it,
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be room for that. And people have taken the zombie genre and spun it all around upside down. Even within like Resident Evil, like which I think is kind of the classic, right? They made them non-zombies
Yeah.
in some games, like they're parasites, or there's all sorts of things you
Last
can
of
do
Us.
with it.
Mhm.
But the concept of losing your will, losing self-control, being forced to like devour the people that you love and your neighbors, and like I think that's a real fear people will always maybe have for some unrealistic reason. It's
Yeah.
there in people's heads. It's part of the zeitgeist, right? It's a meme. Like we're probably always gonna see zombie stuff.
So
Will
long
they
as
be as
Call of Duty
profitable?
exists,
Oh yeah,
zombies will exist.
there you go.
That's always what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Even if other ones die out, Call of Duty will always have zombies.
That's possible.
yeah. I mean, for me, I don't like zombie games at all.
Because you're scared of them.
No, I'm not scared. I just don't like them. I just don't like them, man. Come on. So, still, like the only zombie games
That's
I
scary.
really liked was zombies in COD. Or like Halo when you could play as a zombie with a sword.
That's not right. That's not actual zombies.
That's what I'm saying though. That's the only ones I really liked. Like I never got into the other ones because I just kind of felt like,
I mean, I wasn't like super huge into them. I played Resident Evil 5 because one of my roommates at the time got it from his friend,
yeah.
and he didn't have an Xbox, and I did, so I got it. And I played Last of Us, didn't like it that much, but I think just survival games in general just aren't really my thing. You can spin any kind of yarn around it you want. Zombie, Old West, steampunk, it doesn't matter. No, I did not finish Last of Us.
Yeah, I'd probably play Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's more my speed.
That's about the only
That's
zombies
my
game you'll
game.
play.
Yeah. That's the zombies game I'll play. No, there was this mobile game where you used to drive down the street in a car and zombies would try and jump onto your car and you had to like swerve and get them off. I think it was called like Zombie Driver. Played that.
Hey, Circuit, do you hear about this new intense zombie game? It's called Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh man.
And a new one's coming out, Plants vs. Zombies 2.
Yeah. And then they had the FPS, which was kind of strange.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, good little game.
Yeah.
I think it's on EA.
Yeah.
EA's app on the Xbox. So
Well, cool guys. Well, this was fun doing our first ever podcast and also live stream at the same time. It's been a blast. It's been a blast. So, yeah. Well, guys, don't forget, if you like our podcast, then check out the cool cats at ninjapancake.com. And if you would, like us on Facebook, leave us a review on iTunes. You can follow us all on Twitter. You got at Dirty Bombs, at Circuit 8, and all of us at Millhorn Gaming. And remember, guys, when in doubt, blow it up!
Boom. Shake, rattle, roll.
Well, hey, guys, hang in the chat. As we do at Mixer always, we just finished the podcast. We're going to go host somebody because that's what you do at Mixer. You go and host somebody. So I'm going to go see who we got here we can host. And I already see a good bro we can go host and we can just go visit. So if you're in the chat, just stay right here. And we're going to go directly over to our bro Styles. We're just going to go host him. He's playing some PUBG. But thank you guys for hanging out for the podcast. Thank you guys for chilling with us as we did this for the first time.
yes, thank you.
Real caustic.
very much.
Appreciate that, bro. But yeah, we're hopefully we'll get this down pat pretty good. This one was a little different than our usual setup. So yeah. Well, thanks, Ray, man. Thanks, bro. So we're gonna
give us feedback.
Yes, definitely give us feedback if you're in the Discord or Twitter or wherever you can find us.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some feedback. Let us know how it was. If you liked it, if you like, how it went. So, but yeah, guys, we will see you guys. Just stay right here. Hashtag Mule Raid, and we're gonna go over to our bro Styles. So peace out, brothers.